You got that rare record, and you know, you got that rare sound. 33 hertz is the resonance for clitoris.
Identify.
Now that's some ass.
It's like a love of the synth. The music describes living in the future.
Opening their minds in a certain way, necessarily to sound that they never knew that they could hear before.
The prototype of basically what we're working on.
Design spectral analysis. We are the gangsters of the shit, you know?
Don't stop the beat.
We try to make music that inspires other people to make music and make art.
Into sound, bass frequency.
Reflection of technology.
Really sexy bass line.
I'm just obsessive with sound. I love sound. I'm always just like, and I always want to take it further for me, but where further for me is taking actual music to like where I think like would be an interesting place to go. I never like did this stuff like on purpose. I just kind of ended up with like that's how my rhythms are, that's how my keyboards are and whatnot. But I'm like, it's not a stagnation thing, and I'm not watching like, or I'm not like, I'm a fan of music, so I always know what's going on, but I don't like, you know, hear the hot new record and then go home and try and do that.
Share it, body.
I would say my lifestyle, I'm very technique orientated. I like all this computer stuff and all new technologies and all the visions about technologies, and I think Electro is pretty much the music that describes living in the future. I think the music is pretty much describes what's inside of me.
I feel like I've created a sound, you know, with the people I work with. You know, we've created a sound that's unique. The music that I make is a reflection of technology today and what I see being in the future.
I wanted to direct the sound into Electro, and that's basically where I am now. Now I feel so comfortable. I know for sure the path I want to go in as far as electronic music, and I just feel like Electro, I can put so much more into my soul into that, because whether it's putting lyrics, actually writing lyrics, putting them into a song, actual songwriting, instead of beat looping and recycling. It's gonna be like it was hopefully back in like the mid 90s or even the mid 80s, you know, when everything was new and fresh.
I kind of make a mixture of breaks and electro and a lot of kind of down tempo. Yeah, a whole mixture of stuff, but like I'm kind of primarily into sounds that's a little different to everything else, and very much into bass frequency as well.
Early 80s, European especially, electronic bands, Kraftwerk, Yellow. For me personally, I didn't hear any kind of American music or anything other than English or European music till early 90s. So I came to sort of house and techno and electro really late compared to a lot of people in the scene today.
Moves you make will somehow be detected.
I think my music, it's a mix between my two main influences, which is early 80s electropop and new wave, like Depeche Mode, Soft Cell, New Order, that kind of stuff, and Detroit techno. I really love Detroit techno. I've got a great respect for Underground Resistance, Jeff Mills, Derek May, all those people from Detroit. I'll try to mix those two influences. That's what I'm trying to do.
Swiped.
Unfun music,
Unfun.
apparently, because I think other names are very limiting. People calling us electro or calling us this or that. It's like we're not just that.
Hi, I'm Felix the Housecat. I'm from Chicago.
One record of the year.
I just won Album of the Year for the American Dance Music Awards. I won Album of the Year. Lenny Kravitz gave it to me. And this is Linda Lamb. She's on Gigolo Records. She's a genius.
Coming out of the hot room.
And we're here at the Gigolo Records party at this strip club over here called Beret. I'm sure you can't show that.
I work through osmosis, so it kind of just comes out. I'm pretty emotional about the whole thing, so I can't really talk about it that much because it's more of an emotional situation. That's why I need a producer.
I'm a producer. My whole thing, I think our style of music, I mean, we make electronic music, and I guess when people couldn't afford like instruments, they had to buy like cheap keyboards, and the cheap keyboards sounded great back in the day. So I call it like electronic Euro trash because it's very European inspired. The vocals are trashy and cool.
Pay attention.
I try to be a little more dramatic with my vocals and less trashy, and I'm kind of being a little bit more of a singer-songwriter with electro trash behind it, which I really like the combination of the two. So it's kind of like country electro or like folk country electro weird shit.
We do like Detroit ghetto tech music, which is a cross between early Detroit electro, Kraftwerk style, and Miami bass. It's like right in the middle. It's basically electronic booty music. booty music. To be really raw, have a real gritty sound to it, a real dirty sound. We'll chop up little hip hop vocals, like, you know, some familiar stuff that people know and lay it over electro beats.
Dirty and cheap and easy to do, very minimal, very effective, and all surrounds or centers around really sexy bass line. I'm very interested in people communicating and live interaction, and music is the quickest and the most energetic way to do it. Usually you don't think that electronic music is going to be really that kind, because when electronic music started getting popular again, it was a lot of nerds going. And that's actually why I wanted to do what I do, because I wanted to bring personality back to it. And I also am a really big fan of like ODB and DJ Assault and stuff like that, but it was all guys singing where I was the object, so I wanted to, like, you know, show off my machismo.
Ghetto Miami raw booty shit. Records that maybe, you know, 3 years from now people start, you know, saying, fuck, how was that done? You know, right now it's being processed and DSP gangsters are now into play, you know, digital sound processing, design, spectral analysis. We are the gangsters of this shit. We do it, we sell records, we travel, and we're coming to a town near you.
Electro's been around, it's been original street music for 20 odd years. That's what it is, man, it's original street beats. And when every other music has gone up and down and commercial and whatever, Electro has always stayed there. It's street music, man. It's no format at all, it's basically whatever inspires us at the time. However you're feeling at the time. I think music should be a picture of what you're feeling at that certain moment. We're a part of a movement, there's no egos here, there's no we're better than you, everyone's into the same thing, so let's push each other as a movement.
Where Electro started, when electricity was invented. End of story.
Music started to record on those little phonographic cones that Thomas Edison invented. I mean, that's still a mind-boggling concept if you think about it, that you could take a piece of plastic and play music back through it.
Electronic music for me started, you know, I've got taught this, that it started way back in the 50s with, you know, Stockhausen, Reimacher, Nordheim, Subotnik, all the major composers.
They were using synthesizers, and they were funk. And for me, all electro comes from funk. And when it got fused with the sort of George Clintons of this world, it got funky, but it got dark and cold at the same time, and that's what I love the most.
When electronic drum synthesizers and drum machines started popping up with this kind of like real high-produced digital sound, like people started making these beats, and
you like research and develop like new sounds, and it's like, you know, obviously influenced by like Kraftwerk and whatnot, but it's not, I mean, that's the starting touch tone, but it's like a love of the synth, and like from the love of the synth, like where do you go with that?
Idea of some real treble. Back in the day, he had like an old drum machine, and he had the Casio SK1. I think like all the toys we had while we were in the band, like and, you know, and a voice transformer and pedals for the guitar. He got an MPC, 2000, and that's where you jump into a whole new realm of sequencing. Definitely a lot of credit due to like the MPC, such a groundbreaking instrument for like many people.
Went clubbing occasionally just to hear what was going on, but for me it was to be locked away, developing my own style. Like any art, you've gotta work on your own thing, you know, in your own time. It's not something that comes overnight, you know. If you want to develop something originally, you've got to put the hours in, work.
One thing led another. I started collecting records, I started DJing, and then I wanted more. I wanted to create my own music. I bought a drum computer.
As a DJ, I would play records and I would find that there was a shortage of product that I really wanted to play. Otherwise, I had to play records twice, sometimes 3 times a night. So the alternative was to use a drum machine, 909. And that was the beginning of making music. I would make my own beats, Derek would make his own beats, and we would mix the machine with records, and we would do our little thing on the machines and, you know, change up the beats, and, you know, it was kind of us making a track.
I've always been into like the vintage sound of things. To me, it sounds real, but in a futuristic way.
The kick, the bass drum. Like I said, there's nothing that can match that sound. And you got the snare drum, and you got the low tom.
It's something special too. It's what keeps it underground. Like when you get a record that's rare, you know, it's rare. And you know, you got that rare sound.
Then you got the mid tom. Then you got the high tom. Then you got your little rim shot.
But then again, you know, it's always got to have some kind of knock on top of it. Always got to have that quad.
So that's it. Never be another drum machine like it.
Analog gear for sure.
I would like it to be digital.
But I prefer analog stuff.
Analog gear for sure.
There's something that's, I think, a little more hands-on with it. It seems richer.
Yeah, it's more of a three-dimensional sound. After I've worked with analog for so many years, and then I listen to something that's done on the computer, I most of the time can tell immediately it just sounds two-dimensional to me.
Analog sometimes can't capture all the frequencies that digital quality can, and some people like that because they like what they just hear analog. You know, they don't like the digital aspect of it. They don't like having all those frequencies.
I think electronic music is too cold, and with analog stuff there is a kind of human feeling, and I like it.
You know, probably analog gear does sound better, but just the potential with using the sort of software synths is so huge, and you just have so many sounds available.
But the digital age, those guys will never be able to beat analog recording. It's just the warmest sound possible. It just does something magical to your music when you run it through an analog stage at some point, and I don't think people will really get away from it.
All that kind of 80s stuff.
It's so tied into like Liquid Sky to Miami Vice that right now culture has synced back up to the early 80s.
I want people to dance on my music, and also maybe if possible to think.
Stay locked inside the corners of my mind, those unfamiliar spaces. There is no clock or way of telling time.
The scene that I feel like I'm part of is just people who are like too much of musical freaks to make just techno.
And retro and electro and 1980s in general, you know? Like the whole 80s are back.
You know, it's like right now, culture has synced back up to the early 80s. Like from the top to the bottom, the biggest stuff to the most underground stuff. So that's what's happening right now.
It's just what people want to hear.
When we started with Miskitten, nobody cared about us in Europe except the Gigolo people in Germany.
But that song, like I think alone, like you wouldn't have Miss Kitten and the Hacker without that. Without Doppler Effect, you wouldn't have a record label like DJ Gigolo. The whole aesthetic of the whole label can be summed up with like porno actors.
I want to be a porno star.
DJ Polaris, Winter Music Conference Style, 2002.
Try to put a lot of different genres together. It sounds good, we do it. Definitely a lot of experimentation. You know, hip hop with experimental, and you know, see what happens.
Big you out your territory.
What I do is try to keep it like basic as far as turntables in a mixer, keep it raw. When I do stuff, there's two elements I try to master, which is being super tight and, you know, also being able to play with the swing of a rhythm. You know, it's really difficult. You know, like say if you make a mistake, you gotta kind of like repeat that mistake and play with that mistake until it becomes like supposed to be. You know, until it becomes part of the groove.
Hopefully I can turn some people on to hearing some new music, or maybe opening their minds in a certain way necessarily to sound that they never knew that they could hear before, you know, in a whole new dimension, you know. All the sounds I'm using they're articulately placed, and I'm mutating them, panning them, programming each little piece in the whole composition. 30 seconds could take me a couple days just to program 30 seconds worth of the sound.
Oh, we should have that. That's IDM right there. That's the universal IDM sound.
Styles have fused, and what's exciting about this music, or what people call IDM, especially stuff down here in Miami, the stuff that I hear on Schematic and whatnot, is like it's hip hop meets Miami bass meets sort of British IDM, and it's fun to sort of these like mixed up clusterfuck genres.
150,000 watts. On a good night, they can hear us in the next galaxy.
Transmitting on all frequencies.
On all frequencies.
Now that's some ass.
Miami bass, yeah, there is some cool stuff from Miami back in the 80s. Like, yeah, Miami bass with stuff like Two Life Crew. They were from Miami, right? I like that. It was good. This track, So Horny, was great.
So hot.
Hello, Miami.
I really must say that it's the nicest chandeliers I've ever seen in Miami.
When I'm in undercutteries, I'm in a hotel room. I don't see so much from the city and the people, you know. So I go there and play, and then I fly back to Germany. And over here, I'm more involved into life. So this is more over here like a family thing.
The film humans wanted us to discuss the processes we use in the studio. While it is obvious you cannot fully understand our methods with your primitive understanding of technology, it is through specific process that our retransmissions, encoded as Electro, will cripple and eventually control any civilization.
This isn't a UK thing, this ain't a German thing, this ain't an American thing, this is a worldwide thing.
My name is Martin from Holland, Rotterdam. I'm here on behalf of the dub label.
I'm Chris from Holland. I'm here just to see what the conference all is about.
Saying is simply that you think that you don't like house, you think that you don't like trance, you think that you don't like techno, but basically you don't like DJs. So what you need is to listen to the right DJs, because house music is fucking awfully excellent, and techno and trance is, you know, it just moves your mind and does whatever, but you know, you're just missing the right DJs. Miami is great. It's like meet and greet for people who are doing something.
Anything that's more anti-conference, I'll be there.
From Fuel Records, and we're primarily about bass, as you can see, and we got two 1970s Dodge Challengers, both with 6 18-inch bass pins where the back seats used to be, and a Function 1 mids and tops PA system that comes out of hydraulics in the boot, and they push around 152 dB in volume, enough to give you a small heart attack.
I wouldn't make music if I didn't think there was an area that there was a void in, and we felt that there was a void in the style of music that we were creating.
We saw adult play, and we're seeing all these new bands come out that all have this like genre, and it's all very energized and very motivated and very aggressive, you know, a lot of sexuality, but not just sexuality, not just that, you know, like passion, like youth who want something different, something new, something that means excitement, something that means change.
That's what's next, is taking it to the next level. The next level would be definitely more complicated, more simplex, because people like simple stuff.
With any type of music, any type of art form, there's always a next level to that, and there always will be. After that next level, there's gonna be another next level, definitely, forever.
Movement, tomorrow, laughter, yesterday, encounter, tomorrow, gravity, yesterday.
Too much underground. I mean, it's good that it's underground, but I think information must be provided more, and people that want to know about this community and this music, it's hard to find information. I'm traveling much around the world, so I see in every country, I see little scenes that are very into electro, they're producing and they're doing stuff, but they did not expect that there are in other countries are people doing the same.
I think the next few years of music are gonna be delicious, because it's gonna be all the stuff from the 80s used with what we have now into the future, you know, and just this whole future thing of IDM and experimental music.
I know that there's definitely, in the next couple of years, that there's definitely going to be tremendous growth with electro.
From now to the future, like, it's open to get more experimental and more twisted, and the roots of that kick drum was going to start, you know, tweaking and spinning out of its 4/4 techno. You know, it's going to be more about feeling and hopefully we'll get more bands doing it with laptops, but twisting it, And it's gonna begin getting twisted. I mean, honestly, how long could you keep repeating the same type of music?
Identify location.